Hey, how you guys doing? It's Sunday morning here in Michigan, and today there are no grand adventures to be had. It's going to be a day of just kind of hanging out at home, but I did want to shoot today. A little bit later today, my wife and I will be canning tomatoes that were purchased at a local farmer's market here in Eaton Rapids, and while she's out getting some supplies for that and doing a little bit of school shopping for my oldest son, I decided I'd try to get a little shooting in today. And my subject for today isn't going to be as lofty as doing like aerial stuff with the drone, or no dramatic landscapes or weather photos, even though yesterday would have been the perfect day for weather photos, as there were a couple of tornadoes here in Michigan, actually not too far from where I live. But today's subject is going to be a lot smaller, and I'm setting up here just in the back of my house here, just show you that it doesn't take a lot to have a setup to get kind of cool results. So here's what I'm shooting with today is the OMD EM1, the 60mm macro. I've got it on my Vanguard Veo carbon fiber tripod here, and I'm using an FL 600R flash and the Olympus FL CB05 flash cable. So you can guess, obviously it's macro work, right? So I'm going to be shooting really small things. What am I going to shoot? Well, I've got to go back up to the front of the house and get my subject, and I'll show you what I'm shooting. Yesterday, I didn't get to go shoot all of the wild weather because I was at a family get-together. Oops. Trip and fall here. So I was at a family get-together. My dad is a ridiculously awesome cook with a grill and smoker, so it was a day of incredibly good food, and so that's why I missed all of the wild weather. While at my dad's house, though, we're sitting out back eating, and he grows vegetables like my wife and I do here, and I noticed that his tomato plants looked like they'd been chewed down a little bit, like the ends of the branches were chewed down to little nubs, and I knew what did that. I know what does that. And so I immediately went over to the tomato plants and started looking, and sure enough, because I knew what I was looking for, I found the culprits that had been chewing on his tomato plants, and the culprits are tomato hornworms. Now, the name worm probably instantly makes you imagine something like an earthworm, something slimy and gooey and subterranean. But obviously these aren't subterranean because they eat tomato plants, and they're not slimy or gooey, and actually they're not even a worm. So they're a caterpillar, and they actually, when they go through their growth process and develop. Okay, so this is where I'm set up now. He's eating, so he's not going to be sitting still, or she, whatever. So basically it's just going to be single shots. Camera settings right now are f9, ISO 200, exposure value -0.3. I've got my flash. It's on manual mode and it's set to guide number 4.5. As far as what the power rating of that is, I couldn't tell you. I'm not a big flash person. Maybe somebody else out there can elaborate a little bit on the differences between guide numbers and flash power and watt seconds and all that stuff. It's just not something that I've ever really been interested in yet. I'm sure there'll come a time where I change my thoughts on that. But I think that my hopes and dreams of bracketed shots are pretty much going to be gone, just because this guy just wants to eat. But you know what? That's what they do. They eat, poop, and turn into a big moth. That's about the extent of what they are and what they do. So I'm just going to kind of play around with a little bit some of the different settings here. Currently in aperture priority. Think I might just kind of fool around a little bit with faster shutter speeds and see what I can get here. Probably have to boost up the flash power a little bit here. So I think right now my best results are probably shooting at like f8 and an aperture priority. I'm getting a slower shutter speed, but he's not really moving enough to where that's an issue. Just not too happy with the positioning here. So I'm going to move him over so that this clamp that I'm using to hold everything in place doesn't get in the way. And he's so preoccupied with eating that it doesn't even bother him one bit. He hasn't slowed down his chomping at all. Alright, so I think I've got a few shots that I'm happy with, and I'll probably wrap things up here. Really mellow, slow vlog post today. If you got any questions about, well, whatever, shooting macros, how to find tomato hornworms, whatever, be glad to answer those questions for you guys. Thanks for tuning in, and hopefully after this weekend I can get back on the road again and start doing the normal vlogging. See you guys.